Hi, is that Scott?
It is, yeah. That was a good time because we've just got back from the garden centre, so that was taking the little man, you know.
Garden centre, that's brilliantly wholesome. And taking the little man too. Does he like a bit of gardening himself?
Not really. It's more like the toy section. You know, 5-year-old, like, where's the toys? Show me the toys.
So he's doing proper toys, and your toys are now things like trowels and garden forks and things, are
Well,
they?
see, not really. I just kind of tag along. I'm just hoping that at some point we can do a detour to a vintage guitar store or something. I can dream. We can all dream, I guess.
Hopelessly trying to think about me, but I'm trying to forget the things that dwell on me.
I was just checking back actually, and it was about this time in 2012, I think, that you last gigged on the island, wasn't it?
Oh, was it that? Well, I recorded in the Peel Centre because it was the album Home Part 1 I'd released.
I think it was, because I was the very fortunate person who got to open for you.
That's insane.
Isn't it nuts? I know. And here we are chatting after all this time. And it was an awesome gig anyway. But obviously you've done many, many things and released other albums since then. And they're all fabulous. But we're just delighted you're coming back. And you're on tour, obviously, at the moment. How's it all going?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been nice to get to the point of making 8 records and continue get the wheels in motion to play music to the people. You know, it's been wonderful, and this year's been no different. You know, with the new record's been really well received, and I think there's such an emotional connection at the moment. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's a post-COVID kind of situation, but I think everyone's really embracing being present at an event of live music, and I think that's really heightening the emotional level, I think. Which is kind of fascinating to be a part of, because, you know, there's little pockets of every show where you suddenly kind of get a bit overwhelmed by what's going on. You know, almost like I'm never taking gigs for granted, of course. I've never done that, but it's as if like I'm so present, you know, because of, you know, I suppose that all what we've missed out on over the years, last 2 or 3 years. But I think we're even more kind of maybe emotionally charged to the gig and to that moment together. It's bringing out something really unusually beautiful out of the shows. Like the quality of the experience is kind of heightened. Yeah, it's great.
That is such a lovely observation. It sounds really quite magical. I wonder if part of that, the kind of connection is intensified by the fact that it is such a stripped back show. And so it's that sort of thing. There is nowhere to hide, and everyone must kind of be quiet and must kind of engage. And so that maybe that sort of intensifies the connection a bit. Quite
possibly, yeah. I mean, there's definitely that element. I mean, it's I think as well, you know, 8 records into my career, I think I get a lot of people come to the shows now that have, you know, kind of constantly say it's like my records have been kind of soundtracks to their life and stuff, and you know, so it's as if like there's a real deeply rooted connection with a lot of those earlier songs, and you know, playing a solo gig as well. It's you know, I unplug the guitar at some point of the gig now and just play with everyone in the audience, you know, just stand amongst everyone. And we all sing together, and it's such a lovely, kind of wholesome experience. It really feels quite special, and, you know, I can physically see people crying in front of me, and, you know, that kind of really gets to me then. It's, you know, it's a special thing that's going on at the moment, and, I'm really excited to come back to the island, and I was only there last year, actually, for a wedding, so it's for some friends, and so it'd be lovely to come back and see everyone and really kind of intensify that connection again.
So I love the fact that you're basically saying, I'm going to come over to the Isle of Man and make you all cry.
Happy tears, you know. It's I feel very kind of privileged, you know, that I get to still play the music and, you know, writing my own songs and playing them to people. I'll be eternally grateful for that experience and that opportunity to do what I do.
She's a gambler, spinning wheels, the poison victim, a luck of steel, the coldest heart you've ever felt, the coldest hands you've ever held, ticking down on her way, 1,000,000 miles, still no headway, as I love to let blow, in her mind I'm proud to roll. She's elusive and I'm awake, defiantly real. There's nothing fake, a mystery now to me and you. Open my eyes and now next to you.
It sounds like you are very much in a reflective mood at the moment, because you're mentioning a lot sort of going back to Passing Stranger was your first album, and as you said, you've had many more since then. Do you remember then? I'm going to ask you, since you're feeling nostalgic, do you remember hearing Elusive played on the radio for the first time?
I was in a pub, yeah. I was in a local pub. I had a habit at like lunchtime every day, but I was in a pub. I think I was actually meeting someone from a record label, actually. Because I'd released my first album as an independent label, and I think we had a text message from my friend saying, I've just heard Elusive on Radio 1, Joe Wiley. And at that point, I completely just kind of almost like, not a panic attack as such, but I really kind of froze on the spot, like, whoa, no way, serious, Radio 1? Really? Yeah, it's on Radio 1. So of course, it literally blew up overnight, the attention. Yeah, I kind of found it difficult to handle it, actually, we were talking, a very long time ago, but it all seemed to happen so fast at that point. Now it was a very special moment, and obviously, the song has been rooted in my kind of history, and it's a song that even now is being discovered constantly. Mm-hmm. And we get messages from around the world, people, Brazil, Japan, Mexico, places like that, and saying, when are you going to come and tour? I can see so many people on YouTube doing kind of covers of the song.
She's elusive, I'm awake, defiantly real, there's nothing fake, a mystery now to me and you. Open my eyes and I'm next to you. She said my destiny lies in the hands that set me free.
The world has changed in that respect as well over the time you've been releasing music, because, from back then, you're talking about, sort of pluggers and management and, sort of promotion on that side. It's also different now, isn't it? And a lot of it is very kind of almost DIY from the point of view of the musician themselves. I mean, how do you find that? How do you enjoy that element of it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, with my wife, Sally, we've been running my own record label since 2016. So that's, we're operating very much in a DIY kind of boutique kind of approach, really. And, we still distribute from the house as well, because we haven't got a distribution deal in place yet. So it's like every order that comes through, get a nice little handwritten note and really kind of just keen to retain the personal touch, That's, a lot of it gets lost these days. But, certainly the way to promote music's changed a lot in the time, 17 years or whatever it is. And it does become really a lot more challenging if you don't get the radio support and things like music journals and press reviews and things, because you're always looking to get to a wider audience, which is why this year we tried to do something a bit different as well. And we've got the new video for Wait in the Car, which is the second single, we've got Guy Pearce in it. It's like, well, let's do something different. He's been a fan for years, and I kind of asked him if he'd be up for being in one of my videos, and next thing you know, he's just said, yes, where do you want me, And that's how he's trying to tap into more of a cinematic field, I think, and filmic route on this new record. And I think it's, in terms of the long term, I think that's kind of where I want to be. I've never been the kind of person that writes a pop song, 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, and catchy choruses, I guess. But it's just trying to find what the music's doing for me these days, and the songs are getting longer as well, and certainly more atmospheric and ambient. I think that lends itself more to film. Mm-hmm. So that might be an avenue that I'll be taking more long term, all being well.
I have to mention, you just mentioned the video then with Guy Pearce in it. I mean, it is a short film, isn't it, really, in itself? And it's really powerful, and there's a real sort of mystery to it and melancholy to it as well, really emotional. Were you part of the actual filmmaking process? Did you have... Yeah, so tell me about it.
Well, it was, my good friend Damien Hyde, Damien's directed a few of my videos now, actually, and he's local West Midlands guy, and we'd been talking for quite a while, about videos, and so the aesthetic of the video is kind of like, it's a little bit kind of timeless, I guess, but there's certainly a little nod to late 60s, early 70s in the aesthetic. So Damien found some locations in Torquay, a lovely old kind of early 70s diner, really old petrol station, which looks like it could have been from the 60s, like a time warp. So, of course, we'd found the location. We had some BBC crew, because Damien's the BBC cameraman. And Guy drove over to the UK, got himself based in London, and he got a hire car and drove down to Torquay, and we all stayed in a 2-star hotel in Torquay. And we filmed the whole thing in 24 hours, so it was a real special thing to be a part of, and to watch somebody of Guy's caliber perform and act in his kind of realm was really insightful. And Guy's absolutely superb. To be able to just cameras rolling and to just get into character and act the performance, it was enlightening stuff, and me and Guy have been good friends for a few years now, and we just kind of laughed the whole way through, because we both couldn't believe that was happening.
Wait for the waking sun, our faith will decide. We could wait a long lifetime, too late for the ride, while we wait in the car.
Yeah, it was a very treasured experience, and I look at my career of the last, how many years, 17, 18 years now, and think, feel very lucky that I got to experience that, because everyone that watches the video has really felt that I had such an emotional connection with it. Yeah, honestly, we filmed it back in August, and I think I was pinching myself on the day. I've got so many pinch marks on my arms, It's just like, is this really happening? This Guy Pearce is over there. Okay, he's in his boxer shorts, standing on the beach. Okay, what's going on?
I love that. You must have loads of those little pinch marks. Like, this one's Robert Plant. This one's when Ed O'Brien said lovely things about me. This one's Guy Pearce. It's just amazing.
Well, I think at some point, there's got to be a book, just on these moments, because, I'm obviously a lad from the Black Country in the West Midlands, the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution, and it's like, I think to get those experiences of from where I've come from as well, it's really nourishing, and I think obviously family are mega proud of the journey I've taken, and I sometimes have to forget to give myself a little pat on the back, because I was my own worst enemy for many years, that maybe the not having the belief to go somewhere from where I'm from, maybe there's a humble nature to it all, and maybe this the need to succeed and kind of correct a few wrongs, maybe. But I'm really proud of the journey that's after all these years, and I've got all these memories at the top there, and it's just like I said, feel very lucky that I'm at this point, my 8th record, to get the chance to fulfill those dreams still, and to make the music that I want to make, and be very true to myself. Like any kind of art form, you can look back on it and just hope to see the truth. That's all you can ever put out there and deliver. And I think I've managed to be true to myself in all that time, and that's made me stronger as I move forward. I think every step, there's truth in it, and more belief in yourself as well. Sometimes we all kind of give ourselves a bit of a kick sometimes when we create a bad decision or something, and but I think the only thing that can move us forward all the time is just having that belief in it, in that step. What does Robert Frost say? The 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. And I think I look at the undergrowth of some avenues thinking, is that the right move? Forget it, let's just go for it anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the pathway of those that have played the game. I certainly haven't played the game, and maybe that's why I'm skint. Probably. But and I think it's just it's taking that path that's a bit more of a curious route, and getting Guy Pearce in the video to go more on a cinematic route, that's going to really open my eyes to making music for films now, which is a great kind of thought to have to wrap up the year, really.
That is a very exciting prospect, I have to say. And it is fascinating listening to you, because it's almost like listening to you going on your own journey in this conversation, sort of talking to yourself. But I must come back to the new album then, because, of course, it's a reimagining of New Skin, isn't it? So why did you want to do that?
I think the more I think about this and the more I've spoken about it, it's a very odd move, you know. My last record was called New Skin, and that was the kind of electronic ambient Cocteau Twins venture, you know. That was something I wanted to do.
We could wait a long lifetime to lay for the ride, but we pray till the
But to release the follow-up album, Restless Lullabies, of exactly the same songs, same track sequence and everything, it was like a record of intrigue initially, I think, like curiosity and, okay, what does this song work like with just a piano or just an acoustic guitar? And I'm so glad that I've plucked up the courage to kind of pursue that kind of idea, you know, because it was an odd thing to do, you know, play the same songs. But then if you hear both the albums back to back, I think it feels justified, you know, and that's... and for me, in some ways, I prefer many of the new versions because it felt like the versions that they always should have been.
wait in the car, or will fate take us far to a place full of stars, or do we wait in the car?
And also maybe it's a chapter that's kind of closure as well. You know, there was a cycle of songs that have been going around for quite a few years, you know, just before COVID, and maybe some tracks as far back as post Passing Stranger, not long after. So it's kind of almost like tying up a few loose ends of a chapter as well. So I'd like to think once people hear both versions of the album, they will get it, you know. It's like, oh yeah, I can see why you've totally done that. And I think it's brought to the forefront these songs of poems, you know, and it's brought that there's a real kind of forefront kind of focus. And I'm so glad that I decided not to make a multi-layered experience. You know, it's very, very stripped back, and I think the songs are stronger for it, actually.
I must say as well, one of the things I love about it is how stark and beautiful and how clear the harmonies are, and they really resonate, and it's a really beautiful thing when you're hitting the layers that you create are absolutely beautiful, and you really hear that on this. It's a wonderful thing.
Well, sometimes it's there's still a Brian Wilson kind of character there inside my head going, yeah, you should put like another harmony there. Yeah, okay, let's just do it.
Let's try for an eighth harmony.
I get insanely pedantic about harmonies, but yeah, I love the texture of them. It's still essentially a voice and guitar album. Yeah. But I've tried to almost like depth of field with camera work, you know. I've tried to keep voice and guitar right at the focus, but then there's a little bit of depth there with, you know, 3 or 4 harmonies on the left and right side, you know, just to kind of add a little bit of maybe a subtle layer or something like that. And the instrumentation's a bit different as well. I'm playing a guitar-lele on the new album, which is like a 6-string ukulele. Mm-hmm. So that really adds a different chime and quality to the fingerstyle guitar. So that was a nice little addition to that record that's given it quite a unique sound to any of my other albums as well. And yeah, it's like I said, it's a record I'm very proud of, and yeah, and I can't wait to play it to everyone.
Well, we can't wait to hear it, I have to say. And it sounds like not only you potentially going to go into scoring films, it sounds like one day you're probably going to write your own film, or at least direct one, Scott, from what you're saying. It does sound like that could be a path for you, which would be fascinating.
You never know.
Well, you've got all the right mates to make it happen, haven't you?
Going that way, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we're really looking forward to having you here. So it is Saturday, not far off now. It's a week today, in fact, that Scott's going to be here on the island. And I must say, I'm delighted that Christine Collister is going to be there opening for you as well. She is fabulous, and you're going to thoroughly enjoy her set as well, I'm sure. Fantastic. So, and you're going to be playing. Is it solely the album Restless Lullabies that you're going to be playing, or is it going to be some other material as well, or what are we going to get from you?
It's a real goodie bag of tracks, really. Yeah, lots of I suppose lots of fan favourites that have kind of stuck with me over the years. You know, things like Passing Stranger, Elusive, City Headache, Eyes Wider. You know, certainly first album material, but then there's a whole wave of songs. I'm playing obviously a lot longer these days as well, and trying to get 8 records in 2 hours is quite challenging.
Yeah.
But I have a few tricks up my sleeve, to make it work.
There's nobody you can accuse. The mirror betrays the bold truth, and from inside it's what you do. Start digging around and you'll find, missing for years your own life. You're better off trying not to hide.
Well, Scott, we're really looking forward to have you. Thank you so much for chatting with us today.
It's an absolute pleasure.
I urge everyone to take 5 minutes out of the day and go and watch the video for Wait in the Car, and then, of course, download Restless Lullabies and the entire back catalogue if you haven't already done so, because it's fabulous.